$23,850. Don't know where my knife went. There it is. Extended case break. All right, so slow and steady is going to win this race, apparently. Hey, I do think it's going to go. I do think it's going to go. It's too good of a product not to go, in my opinion. The grade 8, yep, we're getting it. Here it goes tonight, guys. You're going to see it. We got a silver skates for the Jets of Morrissey. Young Guns of Sasson for Vancouver. Dazzlers of Geeky for Tampa. So just a reminder, guys, I will just say most of them because they're just inserts. Future Impact of Pasternak, Boston. Oracles for Utah of Keller. Beehive for the Red Wings, Costa. Young Guns for Nashville, Sveshkov. Pros and Prospects, Larkin. Pros and Prospects. I think we are going to do it. That's the game plan. Beehive Gold of Barkov. Young Guns of George for the Islanders. And an Outburst, Nashville, Stammer. We've got a Celebrini Reflection San Jose. Dimensions of Bork for Dallas. Canvas of OEL for the Maple Leafs. We've got a Future Impact of Thomas for the Blues. Oracles of Aho for Carolina. And a Pros and Prospects, Lane Hudson for Montreal. Number to 10, High Gloss for the Blue Jackets of Severson. 1 of 10, Severson. First draft of Sveshkov for Nashville. And an Encore for Montreal of Hudson. We got a Dimensions of Geeky for Tampa. Will Smith first draft for San Jose. Austin Matthews Encore for the Maple Leafs. Silver Skates of Marchand Boston. Beehive Celebrini for San Jose. And a Dylan Cousins for Buffalo. Canvas. Reflections McGroarty for Pittsburgh. Silver Skates of Doan for Utah. And a canvas for the Maple Leafs, Tim Horton. Love that one. Retired canvas Horton. We've got an Oracles of Geeky Tampa. A Klurman Young Guns for Pittsburgh. And a Beehive of Crosby for Pittsburgh. Silver Skates Byfield LA. Pros and Prospects Crosby Pittsburgh. Swayman Boston Canvas. All right, one down. And again, more than happy to do the other cup break, guys. We're right there. Reflections of Mailou for Montreal. Silver Skates Bratt for the Devils. Sanheim for Philly. Canvas. Oracles for the Rangers. Panarin. Lecker Mackey Vancouver Young Guns. Beehive of Hedman for Tampa. We got an Impact of Geeky for Tampa. Pros and Prospects for McGroarty Pittsburgh. Cam Talbot Canvas for Detroit. Future Impact of Lecker-Mackey Vancouver. Jaska for the Canes Young Guns. Dazzlers for the Devils of Casey. Encore gold of Matachuk for the Jackets. A random Young Guns between Vancouver and San Jose. And a Young Guns Outburst Silver of Inala for the Avalanche. Frankie, what teams do you have in this, by the way? What teams were the last ones? I'm curious to see how they do. Future Impact of Caulfield, Montreal. Oracles for the Avalanche of McKinnon. And a Pros and Prospects of Pettersson for Vancouver. Dimensions of Honzik for Calgary. Oracles for Vancouver, Pettersson. Will Smith, Pros and Prospects for San Jose. Dimensions of Mukamadulin for the Sharks. Lecker Mackey, Vancouver first draft. Encore, Stan Coven for Dallas. Kyle, what's up, buddy? Ooh, that's a good one. Young Guns exclusives to 100 of Grands. Young Guns exclusives for Philly. First draft of Ogren for Minnesota. Encore for Anaheim of Gauthier. We've got a Reflections of Doan for Utah. Silver for Vancouver of Quinn Hughes. And an Urson for Philadelphia canvas. We've got a Reflections numbered to 500. Stan Coven for Dallas. Fellhaber for the Avs Young Guns. And a Demko Beehive Vancouver. Silver Skates of Tippett for Philly. Celebrini Pros and Prospects for San Jose. And a Bichelle Young Guns Canvas Dallas. All right. Next. We've got a Impact of Keller for Utah. Young Guns for Carolina of Yaska. Pros and Prospects. Gauthier for Anaheim. We got a Mishkov Reflections for Philly. Celebrini Dimensions for San Jose. Canvas for Nashville of Stammer. Oracles for Seattle McCann. First draft for the Coyotes of Geeky. Sorry, Tampa. My apologies. That is Tampa. And an Encore McDavid for the Oilers. Future Impact, Stan Coven for Dallas. Encore of Caulfield for Montreal. And for the Rangers, Canvas Panarin. Dimensions of Wallsteed for Minnesota. Encore of Marner for the Leafs. And a Canvas that'll be a random between the Avs and the Sens, McKinnon and Tkachuk. Beehive Gold of Aho for Carolina. Minor for the Avs Young Guns. Outburst Silver for Ottawa of Giroux. Dimensions of Mishkov for Philly. Celebrini first draft for the Sharks. And a Dazzlers for Seattle of Montour. Silver Skates for Philly of Mishkov. Oracles of Caulfield for Montreal. And a Beehive of David Pasternak for Boston. Silver Skates of Gauthier for Anaheim. Oracles for the Blues of Thomas. Beehive of Makar for the Avs. First Draft Deluxe for the Anaheim Ducks, Cutter Gauthier. Philadelphia Flyers, Cutter Gauthier. Young Guns for Boston of Lysell. And a Pros and Prospects, Kaprizov for Minnesota. We got a Will Smith, Reflections for the Sharks. Future Impact of Kachuk for Panthers. And a canvas, Norris Sens. We've got number to 100, San Jose exclusives of Wenberg. First draft of Lambert for the Jets. And a McTavish for Anaheim. Pros and Prospects. And again, ladies and gentlemen, let's get that cup break going. Not many spots left. We've got a Silver Skates of Hyman for the Oilers. Beehive Stankoven for Dallas. Young Guns Canvas Checklist of Mishkov Celebrini. San Jose Philly. Nice. Future Impact Celebrini for the Sharks. Young Guns of Matachuk for the Jackets. And a Dazzlers Sam Reinhart for Florida. Triple Dimensions of Hudson for Montreal. Oracles for Boston Pasternak. Bobrovsky, Pros and Prospects for Florida. We got a Reflections of Bork for Dallas. Silver Skates of Dobson for the Islanders. And a canvas, Logan Thompson for Washington. We got a Pros and Prospects Gold for Seattle of McCann. Pickering Young Guns for Pittsburgh. First draft, Outburst Silver Bolduc for the Blues. First draft. We've got a Future Impact number to 333. Stankoven for Dallas. Mailou Montreal first draft. Beehive for the Devils of Jacques. We got an Impact of Eichel for Vegas. Oracles for the Maple Leafs of Nylander. Encore for Washington, Ovechkin. Silver Skates Kachuk for Ottawa. We got a Pros and Prospects Nazar for the Hawks. And a Markstrom for the Devils canvas. We got a Selections of Casey for the Devils. First draft for the Penguins of McGroarty. And a Beehive of Matthews for the Leafs. We got a Reflections of Nadeau for Carolina. Silver Skates of Lecker-Mackey Vancouver. And a Niederreiter for Winnipeg canvas. We got a canvas Young Guns black and white variant of Hirakoen for Dallas. A Young Guns for Dallas of Hirakoen. And we got a Matthews Pros and Prospects for the Maple Leafs. We got an Impact of Mishkov for Philly. A Pros and Prospects of Osman for the Rangers. And a Hurdle canvas for Vegas. Again, more than happy to get the other cup break going, guys. All right. We've got a Reflections of Zellweger Anaheim, Impact of Horvat for the Islanders, and a canvas of Power for Buffalo. We got a clear-cut base, JVR for the Jackets, Bork for Dallas first draft, and a Lafreniere for the Rangers, Pros and Prospects. We got a Dimensions of Bolduc for the Blues, Bichelle for Dallas, Encore, and a Uyghur canvas for Calgary. Silver Skates McCann for Seattle. Grand Young Guns for Philly. Beehive for Nashville of Forsberg. Dimensions of Richie for the Avs. First draft for the Rangers of Othman. And a Mishkov Dazzlers for Philly. Encore Gold of Horvat for the Islanders. Mishkov, first draft for Philly. Outburst Silver, Swayman for Boston. Silver Skates of Nazar for Chicago. Oracles of Konechny for Philly. Encore of Stamkos for Tampa. Or sorry, for Nashville. Silver Skates Barkov, Florida. Mishkov, Oracles for Philly, and an Encore for Tampa of Kucherov. We've got a Mishkov, $4.99 Trilogy rookie for Philly, Encore of Hellenius for LA, and a Beehive for Montreal of Suzuki. We've got a Reflections of Sveshkov for Nashville. Future Impact of Gauthier for Anaheim. Young Guns Canvas for San Jose. Celebrini. Whoever's got this, I absolutely recommend getting that one graded. You can do the grading checkout on our website, guys. That is awesome. Congrats. Deluxe number to 250 for Anaheim, McTavish. Young Guns of Portillo for LA. And with Pros and Prospects, Bedard, Chicago. Dimensions of Allen, Chicago. Utah, Keller, Pros and Prospects. And a canvas of Harley for Dallas. Well, not even halfway through, and I think I've already murdered this case. You've got New Jersey in which one? The Cup? We've got a Pros and Prospects Gold of Stan Coven for Dallas. Cutter Gauthier for Anaheim first draft. Outburst Silver for the Rangers of Smith. We've got a Dimensions of Sveshkov for Nashville. Oracles for Anaheim of Gauthier. Encore of Celebrini for San Jose. We've got an Impact of Aho for Carolina. Grabenkin for the Maple Leafs Young Guns. And a Dazzlers of Robertson for Dallas. Silver Skates of Ogren for Minnesota. Young Guns for the Red Wings of Casa. And a Beehive for Pittsburgh of Malkin. Future Dimensions of McGroarty for Pittsburgh. Oracles for LA of Kopitar. Encore of Ogren for the Minnesota Wild. Or Pros and Prospects. Reflections for Dallas of Stan Coven. Impact of Panarin for the Rangers. Shesterkin canvas for the Rangers. Deluxe number to 250 for Vancouver of Miller. Wallsteed for the Wild first draft. And a Nazar Encore for Chicago. Black and white canvas variant. Beniers for Seattle. Bichelle for Dallas Young Guns. And for Vegas, Bryson, Pros and Prospects. Reflections of Wallsteed, Minnesota. Silver Skates Celebrini for San Jose. And a Brent Clark canvas for LA. Dimensions of Othman for the Rangers. Encore Fuse for Vancouver. Young Guns canvas for Vancouver. Lecker Mackey. We've got a Silver Skates number to 250. Morrissey for the Jets. Young Guns for the Rangers, Berard. And a Beehive of Stutzel for Ottawa. Future Impact of Kaprizov for Minnesota. Pros and Prospects, Matachuk for Columbus. And a Boston Lindholm canvas. All right, the back half now. All right, oh, arm is killing me. We've got an Impact of Cider for the Red Wings, a Pros and Prospects Stankoven for Dallas, and a canvas for Boston of DeBrusk. Oh, sorry, Vancouver DeBrusk. My apologies. We got a Dimensions of Rempe for the Rangers, Casa for the Red Wings Young Guns, and a Markstrom Dazzlers for the Devils. Silver Skates for Calgary of Kadri. We got an Oracles of Fantilli for the Jackets. And a Pros and Prospects, McKinnon for the Avs. Future Impact, Kopitar for LA. We got a Pros and Prospects of Pasternak for Boston. And a canvas, Seattle of Montour. Dazzlers, pink variant of Dean for the Blues. First draft of Costa for the Red Wings. And a Matachuk Encore for the Blue Jackets. We got an Encore Gold of Raymond for the Red Wings. Nazar, first draft for Chicago. And another Checklist Outburst Silver, McAvoy and Cider, Boston Red Wings. Wow. A lot of randoms in this one. We've got a Reflections Nazar for Chicago, Silver Skates Bedard for Chicago, and a canvas of Rossi for Minnesota. It took Dallas and Cup. Beautiful. Thank you, sir. Dimensions of Dean for the Blues, Oracles of Hudson for Montreal, and a Marchand Encore for Boston. We've got another rookie for Philadelphia, Mishkov, $9.99. Dobish for Montreal, Young Guns. What a pack. And a Beehive of Hudson for Montreal. That was like a loaded pack. Silver Skates of Jarvis for Carolina. Bradley, Young Guns for the Avs. And a Beehive of Will Smith for San Jose. Reflections, Lecker-Mackey, Vancouver. Silver Skates, Draisaitl for the Oilers. Canvas of Hellebuck for the Jets. We've got a Young Guns of Bichelle for Dallas. Pros and Prospects of Lysell for Boston. And a Young Guns Clear Cut for the Penguins of Klurman. All right. We've got a Dimensions of Will Smith for San Jose. First draft for the Blues of Bolduc. And a Dazzlers for the Devils of Jack Hughes. Silver Skates Ovechkin for the Caps. Oracles of Bolduc for the Blues. And an Encore Mishkov for Philly. Dazzlers pink variant for the Blue Jackets of Matachuk. Inala Young Guns for the Avalanche. And a Matachuk Beehive for the Blue Jackets. Reflections of Ogren for Minnesota. Impact of Hughes for the Devils. Canvas of Zegras for the Ducks. Silver Skates for Montreal Suzuki. Young Guns of Minor for the Avs. McDavid. Pros and Prospects for the Oilers. Deluxe to 250 of Deneau for LA. Lysell Young Guns for Boston. And a Pros and Prospects of Yossi for the Preds. Beehive Gold Hudson for Montreal. Casa for the Red Wings first draft. Outburst Silver for Vegas of Howden. Dimensions of Lambert for Winnipeg. Encore of Lecker-Mackey Vancouver. And a canvas of Strome for Washington. We got a silver skate of Smith for the Sharks. Oracles for Washington Ovechkin. And a Beehive Lecker-Mackey Vancouver. Reflections of Gauthier Anaheim. Future Impact Hudson for Montreal. And a Fiala for LA canvas. Black and white canvas variant of Ehlers for the Jets. Nazar first draft for Chicago. And a Doan Pros and Prospects for Utah. Dimensions of Gauthier for Anaheim. Darlene Encore for Buffalo. And a David Pasternak for Boston canvas. 4 more to go. We've got a silver skates of Svechkov for Nashville. Willsby for Nashville Young Guns. Dazzlers Kaprizov for Minnesota. Future Impact Forsberg for Nashville. Oracles for Montreal Suzuki. And a Beehive for the Hawks of Bedard. Number to 999 for Dallas Bork Trilogy. Young Guns of Milne for Minnesota. And a Pros and Prospects of Bichelle for Dallas. Pros and Prospects Gold, Pasternak for Boston. Stezka Young Guns for Seattle. Berggren Outburst Silver for the Red Wings. Reflections of Hudson for Montreal. Dimensions for Vegas of Bryson. And a canvas for Florida of Bennett. We've got number to 250. Deluxe of Bouchard for the Oilers. First draft for the Sharks of Celebrini. And a Barkov Encore for Florida. Future Impact of Smith for the Sharks. Oracles for Dallas of Wyatt Johnston. And for the Tampa Bay Lightning, Pros and Prospects of Geeky. Silver Skates of Vinishad for the Rangers. Beehive McDavid for the Oilers. Werenski Canvas for the Blue Jackets. Dimensions of Zellweger for Anaheim. Lambert for Winnipeg first draft. Encore of Will Smith for San Jose. Reflections of Geeky for Tampa. Silver Skates of Stone for Vegas. And a Barzal for the Islanders canvas. Clear Cut Base for the Avalanche of Dahan. Young Guns of Bradley for the Avalanche. And for Anaheim, Beehive Cutter Gauthier. Silver Skates of Hintz for Dallas. Pros and Prospects Gensel for Tampa. And a Kachuk canvas for Ottawa. All right. Three more to go. We've got an impact. Dimensions of Ogren for Minnesota. First draft of Bolduc for the Blues. Encore for the Islanders of Horvat. We got a Reflections of Geeky for Tampa. Silver Skates of Power for Buffalo. And a Canvas for the Jets of Scheifele. Canvas black and white variant. Trocheck for the Rangers. We got our Grabenkin for the Maple Leafs Young Guns. And a Beehive Barkov, Florida. Silver Skates of Stamkos for Nashville. Aho Beehive for Carolina. And a Canvas Tavares for the Maple Leafs. Dimensions of LaRue for Nashville. We got an Encore of Draisaitl for the Oilers. And a McNabb Canvas for the Vegas Golden Knights. Pros and Prospects Gold of Bork for Dallas. Lecker-Mackey Young Guns for Vancouver. And a Georgiev Outburst Silver for the Avalanche. Silver Skates of Point for Tampa. Kozak Young Guns for Buffalo. And a Dazzlers Darlene for Buffalo. Future Impact of Darlene for Buffalo. Oracles for Florida of Kachuk. Pros and Prospects for Seattle of McCann. Future Impact of Malkin for the Penguins. Oracles for Calgary of Huberdeau. Beehive Mishkov, Philly. Reflections numbered to 50 for Minnesota of Ogren. Young Guns of Willsby for Nashville. And a Pros and Prospects Bork for Dallas. Reflections of Hudson for Montreal. Dimensions for Dallas of Stankoven. And a Young Guns Canvas for Buffalo of Kozak. Deluxe number to 250 of Cates for Philly. We got a Lecker-Mackey Vancouver first draft. Encore Raymond for the Red Wings. All right. So you can buy more spots with it.
That's funny.
Well, I hope you do get a big hit. I really do. We've got a Silver Skates McKinnon for the Avs. First draft of Bryson for Vegas. And a Dazzlers of Dubois for Washington. Silver Skates Matthews for the Leafs. Oracles Bedard for Chicago. And a Beehive of Robertson for Dallas. We've got a Young Guns Will Smith for San Jose. And a Pros and Prospects Zellweger for Anaheim. Pros and Prospects Gold for the Avs of McKinnon. Hyrie for Young Guns for Dallas. McDavid Outburst Silver for the Oilers. We've got a Reflections of Bolduc for the Blues. Future Impact of Marner for the Leafs. Not really. Wallman Canvas for the Sharks. We've got a $9.99 Trilogy Lecker-Mackey for Vancouver. Pickering for the Penguins first draft. Pros and Prospects for Vancouver of Lecker-Mackey. Silver Skates of Kyrou for the Blues. Oracles for Tampa of Kucherov. And a Beehive for Washington of Ovechkin. Dimensions Luchenko for Philly. Encore Crosby for Pittsburgh. Canvas of Fleury for the Wild. Impact of Makar for the Avs. Lagar Young Guns for the Devils. And a Mishkov for Philadelphia. Pros and Prospects. We got a Reflections of Rempe for the Rangers. Dimensions of Doan for Utah. And a Canvas of Johnson for the Blue Jackets. Clear cut for Montreal of Dvorak. First draft for Carolina of Nadeau. And an encore for Philadelphia of Konechny. Silver skates of Hudson for Montreal. Morrissey, Beehive for the Jets. Canvas, Dubois for the Caps. Almost there, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you guys being awesome tonight. We've got an impact of Kucherov for Tampa. Ovechkin, pros and prospects for the Caps. Young Guns canvas of Klerman for Pittsburgh. In Dimensions of Mailou for Montreal. We got a Pickering for the Penguins first draft. And a Robert Thomas, Dazzlers for the Blues. Silver skates of Crosby for the Penguins. Oracles for Philadelphia of Luchenko. And an encore to Foley for San Jose. Swagnificent Heeshear for the Devils. Young Guns of Stezka for Seattle. And a Beehive of Kreider for the Rangers. Dimensions of Nadeau for Carolina. Encore McKinnon for the Avs. And a Lehkonen canvas for Colorado. We got an Ogren Reflections for Minnesota. Impact McDavid for the Oilers. And a canvas of Wolf for Calgary. We've got number /99 for the Blues. Trilogy Rookie of Dean. Young Guns for San Jose of Smith. Pros and Prospects. Rantanen for the Avs. Beehive Gold. Mishkov for Philly. Nadeau first draft for Carolina. Lafferty Outburst Silver Buffalo. We've got a Silver Skates for the Blue Jackets, Fantilli. Oracles for the Devils of Jack Hughes. And a Beehive for Buffalo, Tage Thompson. Silver Skates, Raymond for the Red Wings. Milne Young Guns for Minnesota. And a Pros and Prospects of Suzuki for Montreal. We got a Reflections of Gauthier for Anaheim. Impact of Nazar for Chicago. Canvas, Stevenson, Seattle. And big finish, hopefully. We got an Oracles of Wyatt Johnston for Dallas. First draft Ogren for the Wild. And a Pros and Prospects of Hughes for the Devils. All right, now to do the left and the right. Three times. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. The left side is going to get them.